A Doovid here with an impromptu chess stream. I'm just sitting around, time scheduled. I feel like I started playing some chess again, and I do a stream related. Like I did a lot of research. Obviously, anyone who follows my channel knows I'm a chess coach. It doesn't look like the Detroit Chess Club is going to be reopening anytime soon. God forbid, COVID-19, and but that's given me the time to actually do a lot of research into chess papers, chess psychology, and I did the video last week. So here you go: chess psychology, DeGroote's thought and choice, skill levels, various things in the paper. I read Bill Wall's. It's mostly kind of like a book on tape. It's me mostly reading papers, and it's somewhat of my own personal training that I'm using for my own purposes, and we'll talk about it more maybe as I try to play into a little chunking theory myself. And so here's the chess. I'm going to try to stream this on the science of consciousness. Okay, so see if anyone from LI Chess joins me. But yeah, so I did this video. I read through DeGroote's thought and choice in chess, like an article of Gobit's and a little about his theory. Kotov's Think Like a Grandmaster. Very interesting article. Cleveland's 1907 Psychology of Chess, Learning to Play It. And I read through large parts of it, especially the idea about attention. And then I went into more of the later psychological theories about how the mind forms thought, which is largely why I'm streaming, because it's going to be related to the multiple truth hypothesis and the hard problem of consciousness. And this week is the Science of Consciousness conference, and chess studies is actually very related to the science of consciousness. A lot of people in the field play chess, follow chess, and a lot of the studies, like I said, DeGroote's thought and choice in chess is one of the most quoted of all scientific papers, period. Not just among chess players, but period. The study, and I mentioned in videos on speed reading, like I have my own videos and I advocate speed reading, and I've actually taught hundreds of people to speed read, just like I've taught hundreds of people how to play chess, because it's a useful thing, and when I speak to people I try to give them useful information. So teaching people how to speed read is something I've done many times. But the chunking theory, if anyone watches my speed reading video, is very similar to Chase and Simon's 73 in perception in chess. And then I read Gobit, I think it's from Switzerland, so get some international competition here. That you might know these names like DeGroote. I think that's clear class names. So I'm not sure how common of a name that is in Netherlands. Maybe he's related. It could be chess runs in the family. Would not surprise me. But I'm going to try to go through this other paper. I was going to do a stream, and I figured, okay, why don't I just play some chess? So I was going to go through this paper by Roy Roaring. I have to look up, who this guy is or contact him. But he wrote a PhD thesis reviewing expert chess performance, a production-based theory of chess skill. And I was really just going to read through it. It's really quite good. And it covers the main theories about how the mind thinks about playing chess, and various things. So, like general abilities, chunking theory, search evaluation and knowledge, long-term working memory, template theory, new theory of chess skill, ideas about what makes a good chess player, what's the difference between good chess players and bad chess players. Oh, I still got 1 minute. So I was thinking of this. I think it's called the Hilltops of Prophecy. So it's an image of, here it is. So this is a famous image. Like Christians are probably familiar with it. Maybe Jews have seen it, or various things. There was an architect who drew these ones. I actually have his whole book. He kind of has the mountain peaks of prophecies, where this is from a Christian view, but just the graphic art where you have the early Hebrew prophets, and you have like the valley of the church that the Hebrew prophets couldn't see, from the perspective type thing. So chess, in terms of a thought pattern for understanding how thought works, is a very good tool for looking at this concept, what it is that someone sees. So like Blitznor 88, we've played 58 games from France. He's beaten me more times than I've beaten him. We might play the first game. And, so if he beats me, what it is that he saw that I didn't see, thinking in that terms of like the hilltops of prophecy and generally into the science of consciousness. So if other people find this video useful, that's good. But I'm doing it almost largely for myself, and kind of just using myself in my own experiments, so to say. So I'm my own participant in my mental experiment, and I've played this guy tens of games. I haven't played for like a month, and I haven't really looked at opening variations. So I think I got to take and go bishop here right away. A lot of this boils down somewhat to being extremely careful in the opening and knowing the best variation. So I mean, this guy's pretty good, and he's a favorite to beat me anyways. But just looking at the opening position here, and this is also going to like the chunking theory. Like this did not really go the way I wanted to. I'm already retreating. Like I had white, and I'm already on the retreat. I almost already have to do this, or else I'm giving up this pawn. So like I'm almost already lost. It's kind of embarrassing, but it may not be that bad. You see a computer evaluation, and I was talking with Derek on my Facebook earlier about Trump and what's going on. That these days, like international business, international policy. I almost have to do that. Usually, my strategy not to think too long. I mean, my hope in this tournament is going to be largely because I'm quicker. I'm going to win more games, and I'm probably going to berserk. But usually, I don't think too long on things. There's not much to think about. So here, like I'm hitting that pawn. I don't know if what he's trying here. I probably have to take that, but I really don't. I could play knight back here, and then I'm covering this square and this square. But then he could attack the knight, and I take it next move. But I think if I play knight here, I'm covering I'm covering the key squares. So I guess that was his idea, but I think I'm going to take the knight, and I got to take with the king. If I take so actually, I'm not sure he played that right. I thought he had a better position out of that than from my opening play. So now it looks relatively basically even. Like if he doesn't do something extremely quickly, I could just cover up these gaps, and he's got the exchange, but I got a few pawns for it. So like I play this guy a lot of times. He's a little bit slow, so a lot of my victories against him, I have had legitimate victories against him, but of the 58 times we've played, in my 22 victories, probably like half of those were largely on time. So like if it's resorted back to even, the position, like now it's basically about even again, and time will be to my advantage. So now he's almost got to be a little bit scared to play a defensive move, and I'm not sure if I play like a pawn here or a bishop. I mean, unfortunately for him, he doesn't have any material, so I think I'm going to play the bishop here, just get a piece on, maybe attack the pawn, make a threat. I thought about playing pawn back here. That was probably the safest move. Or I could have went straight into attack, but like my material advantage here is I have a lot of pieces to place, and actually that was possibly dumb, but I don't know what he does if I play king here. I thought I'd play king here, but what's he going to do? He's going to I mean, this could be a little bit dangerous, but like I mean, he could play like rook takes knight. That could have been. He could play rook takes knight. I might be in trouble because then the knight comes. I mean, the knight comes right there. but he doesn't have a diagonal. He doesn't have a pawn. I was joking. Yasser Serin was watching like my kingdom for a pawn. So yeah, one pawn would make a big difference. If you play like rook takes knight, I could take the rook, and he could do like a knight check here. I mean, knight check here is still a valid threat. So I could waste like a knight here. No, it's not protected. Like the problem is if I want to block it, I have to block my king square. So I go like pawn here. I go pawn there. He's got knight here. Then I play king there, and I'm going to lose a lot of material. So that could be problematic. If I go knight here and let him do knight check, and then I go king up, that's also problematic. So I might have put myself into a bind. I want to think I'm already lost here. And the problem is this square here too. So if I let him have the knight check, then he's going to get this square here also. This really looks bad. I'm probably even walking into mate. I don't even know why I did that. Thinking like, because I wanted to talk about consciousness. So this guy's a tough opponent who is, likely to beat me. So you see the consciousness, and just like I thought, and then I just did something that didn't actually correspond to anything I was thinking about. But he might have not played the best way. So like I just butchered that, and now on his part, like he definitely had better continuations than that. But at the same time, that's part of why chess is a good game to study the science of consciousness, because it's you're very, so to say, interpretive, and you have to make a decision. Like end of the day, you got to go, you got to do something. So you got to move. Time is ticking. I'm down to a minute. At some point, like, okay, could I do queen takes pawn sacrifice and get like a cheapo mate, especially in time, if he doesn't come up with something? And also, so he takes, and I think I got to go for it. Like at this point, I just got to go for it. Like time is ticking down. I maybe could have defended. He had a lot of material, but I think my best strategy here was, although, maybe he could just go king back there, and I got nothing. So I mean that's pretty likely. He could just play king f8, and I got nothing. Oh, he takes. Okay, I like that he took. I don't have much time. I could have thought about it differently. Let's bring the bishop there for defense on this square. If he blacks with the pawn, I with the pawn, and you just don't have any material left. So I sacked everything, and now I got nothing left. So that's not good. So he's basically got this one. So the rating goes the first game. I get my toughest game. So I was started number 2 in this, and I get my old nemesis Blitznor, and he looks like he's got me here. So he just goes the easy way out and grabs the material, which is usually his strategy, and a pretty good strategy at that. Although ironically, time is always a factor. Like I was saying, I have beat this guy 22 games, and it's usually time. And it's tough to find good moves. And like here, I got here and then knight check almost. Like I don't think he meant to give me that. And I got like pawn here, knight here. I have absolutely no material here. This is but it's funny now. Like I like my chances almost. Like I mean, that wasn't. You shouldn't have taken that, but I'm the one who's going to lose on time. He gets me mate. Okay, so that was a fun game. So you guys get to see me lose a game. So, I'm largely just streaming because when I first started, streaming chess, like I'm basically just a chess coach. So I'm a competitive player, and when I tried to get better, like like I said, when I was younger, I was a competitive player, and chess is one of my better skills. So like expert play in Detroit, they need coaches. So I coach, and it's good activity. I enjoy doing it. So a lot more of my thought was more in pedagogy and consciousness, and eventually I do research on the hard problem of consciousness, and be interesting to see all these studies about how the brain forms thought. And I knew when I played chess, as a youngster, that there was all these things out there. And the interesting part is that the expertise of science points in the direction that let's see, lets me take. Yeah, I don't think he could almost play like knight on there. I don't know if I have a final kill here. So I played that beginning part basically completely on memory. So we think about chunking. Like I didn't really think about any of those moves. Like maybe I had to look briefly. So here you could trade queens if he wants, but then he has to bring the rook back to think, or he gives up the rook or the bishop back. You kind of want like a final kill in these tournaments, because that largely the determination of the tournament is based on I think also, like I read that Cleveland study, and most of the historical thought on chess was like, obviously people play chess because of the natural competitive desire in man, that there's like a natural desire to win and have victory and to prove ourselves. And it's just historical or whatever, that chess has became that method that people use to so to say, think this is going to be mate. Queen check here, he has to block with his queen, he used his rook, and then I could do the bishop takes pawn, and then I have knight on d1 to hedge the queen and rook. So I guess just the queen. If he goes, takes that, rook, there's mate. If he goes up, rook, there's mate, or queen. So mate in one. And actually, that's my 10th victory. I apologize, deserter. You're a good man, but that's the 10th game that and so I was saying that, okay, like, oh, I feel good about myself, I just beat this man and I berserked him. And so say, like, the general psychology of why people play chess is that it's saying, like, I want to feel good about myself, I want to accomplish, and I just beat somebody, I did something. And historically, that's how chess has been understood. And from a spiritual level, like on a spiritual realm, souls and reincarnation and various complicated things like Kabbalists and the ancient Indians wrote about, versus your just basic psychology of wanting to win, and wanting to have a feel of achievement and accomplishment. Versus later, largely I looked at chess as a method to do a good deed, saying to to teach, to coach. Saying it's good to be a coach. It's good to be involved, and but also as mental exercise. Chess is a great historic game. You're going to do some form of mental exercise. Chess makes sense that it might be one of the best forms of mental exercise. So, he's double attacking that pawn. He's got his bishop on here. I'm not sure if I messed up if I try sticking something in, or if I should just go like pawn here. Yeah, I think at this point, but now I'm risking like losing 2 pawns. So he could take this pawn, and I'm not even threatening anything. And yeah, I don't think I played this well, and then I went in to play it like even worse. So it's a thought like I couldn't find the best move, and so like then I just wanted to move. So then I make a series of possibly bad moves. I mean, it's probably okay here. Like I did create some holes in him, and here he gives me the rook. So if I do bishop takes pawn, let me pop a knight in here. I do this, and then pop this bishop in here. So like I already have 1 rook, so I'm going to get 2 rooks. It may not have been the right way to do it. Maybe I should have done. Okay, so he played it that way. I was scared he was going to play pawn takes and then pawn takes there, and he could have some counterplay. But now he doesn't really have that many counterplay. I mean, he might, like knight there was probably more scary. And yeah, I probably should just pop in, get a threat right away, because he's got knight here. I got 2 rooks, so I got to come up with a threat right away. Knight takes pawn. I'm going to have to move my queen somewhere smart. Yeah, almost did it right there, but I go for right here. So if he takes with, okay, so he goes like that. Why didn't I just take the knight? Oh, that was just like, see, like a brain fart type thing that that happens when you're playing chess. So I don't have a bishop for there. I could play like rook there. It'd be interesting. Like, I mean, he's got a lot of material. I got to come up with some way to break in. So I guess pawn here. But then is he mating me? If I do pawn here and he takes my queen, he might have mate. And if I go here, he's going to go like knight there. So I got to get a rook down or something. So let's do like place a rook. Is that worth it? You're thinking like rook here and then to play like queen here. But the problem is like I'm mated. And then maybe I should have saved the rook. Problems and just made it like knight that he's got a. Well, he doesn't have a rook. He used his rook, so I'm actually. I don't think I'm mated because he used his rook. Had he not used his rook, then I may have been mated. But now I think I could take the rook Because if he takes the queen, I could take there, but I mean he could take there also. So now he has the rook for smothered. It's not looking good because that's just like a smothered mate. Well, that's horrible, but it's got to do something to guard this square. He didn't even have to take that, and I got nothing. So, yeah, my rambling, I play worse than a ramble, but that's largely why I was doing this. I play one to ramble and talk about like an anti-competitive spirit because, generally people play chess because of the competitive spirit. And that's the largest, drive, to win, to accomplish, to even play the game in the first place. And from the point like Islamic or even some Judeo wisdom is that so he gave me unnecessary chances there because he didn't have to give me that chance. I guess it doesn't matter. If I thought about that, maybe I would have done that differently. I'm not sure if I had to do knight there and then he had king up. I could have thought about doing that differently. Now it looks like I got nothing because he's just going to have mate. I mean, he just played like a pawn there, but then he doesn't have a pawn. So that was... I'm down to 9 seconds. So like, unless he like gives me a knight for some reason or does something dumb, he could probably even just push the pawn here. But I just made a move to make a move. So I can't imagine he doesn't figure out how to not lose here. But you never know. So he's got 2 minutes to think, like pawn here looks pretty safe. Placing a pawn here looks pretty safe. Placing a pawn here or here looks pretty safe. Yeah, so just give it to him. Okay, so let me try to win a few games. So you see me at my worst, my glory, and I wanted to talk about some of these papers on chunking and how the mind forms chess, and just to play some of that, and as opposed to trying to be competitive to try to win the tournament, but I had read de Groot's Thought and Choice in Chess, and it was very interesting. And the interesting I was saying of I was going to do this debate with Jennifer Church of Entropy on Modern Day Debate. Hopefully it's going to happen. Like, there's no reason to think it won't happen, but how quickly they get back to us or something, we'll see. But I was going to defend dualism, and from the spiritual approach that there is a separate spiritual realm where things like souls exist, and as opposed to the quantum mind and these various theories of consciousness that largely most people are trying to use these to be physical explanations for spiritual phenomenon, that through like the quantum mind, that things like Jennifer's theory of reincarnation and like electric field theory and various things to explain spiritual phenomenon, which I do largely agree with and support, but the purpose of religion is saying that dualism historically has been the belief, and saying that I believe in a spiritual realm, a God, so to say, that is separate from the material realm, and that my soul's origin is not through some quantum process, but through a spiritual realm, that God or that is revealed to possibly in scripture. So I guess a pretty cute mate in one attempt. I probably could have just taken with the pawn, but saying one move. Even a beginner player, if you slip for one move, you could lose. So there he is back with the mate in one threat. I think I'm okay, but props to him for trying. He could even try sacking the queen here. Probably his best choice at this point. Queen sacking knight there, although I doubt he's going to do that. He goes for the more direct mate in one, but I think I'll probably get him here. Although think about it. So go here. I guess I'll just do the rook. Okay, this was not the best efficient mate here, but it's looking pretty good for me here. Got his king out. Although sometimes the benefit of Crazy House and why people probably enjoy playing it is because it basically always turns into these like mate in one puzzles or mate in a few puzzles. The nature of Crazy House is eventually it's going to come down to some crazy position and with some way where, there was really like some sort of mate in some in so many that if you almost that you could have seen. That's why it's good mental exercise. So okay, the general reason I like chess in the first place is largely just mental exercise, and so Crazy House is a better form of that mental exercise because more combinations, more possibilities. So that's pretty much the straightforward. And because I'm rambling, I didn't even mate him, and his king's running back, and I'm down to like 50 seconds. So here, I guess I'm just gonna. I mean, that didn't even really help me, but knight here would be mating. So if I get his queen off, if he did like pawn takes bishop, I could play queen takes bishop. So he takes, what's he going to do? Sack the queen? Okay, so he doesn't sack the queen. Bring the bishop here. Knight here is a mating attack. So I wasted my pawn though. So knight there was a mating attack with a pawn. Because knight there, then his king has to move a pawn there and queening. And now I don't have a pawn. So see if he sees bishop here. Sees bishop there. Okay, he sees it. Good for him. But that allows me to safeten up and take and push back. So he does have some winning chances here. Like at the end of the day, he has winning chances. I played pretty slow, and 30 seconds is like it's a lifetime. Like relatively, he doesn't have that much attacking. But that's why Crazy House is fun, because even here, Wycon here has reasonable winning chances, and reason to play on. Like he should be looking for something. But okay, so he sacks the queen, and now I just use the pawn. So it's basically all over and be mate in one. So good game. Okay, get myself in the top 10. Yeah, I don't know. If ZH Blunderman, appreciate he made a comment. If I'm the only one who finds this interesting, I got a handful of people watching. A comment later. I'll watch this back myself. Chat, I am my own experiment, and only one who cares. So let's see if I get another game. And you say like, okay, why are we here? We're all here to have fun. We're all here to win. But like, no, I'm saying generally, I was saying some pretty insightful, interesting things about this model of chess and how thought is formed related to free will in the book The Christian Shade, in his book on free will and decision making, and that was actually fascinating. But let me do that. Plan on pushing there. So he just pushes the issue because now I do this twice. Okay, but because I brought the knight out, it's problematic because this pawn's hanging. So this like opening preparation is important. You play intuitive moves, and so I hadn't really looked at the computer on any Crazy House or studied it. I watched a little bit. I played a tiny bit on chess.com the last week. That's why I figured I'd just stream it because I'm playing it anyways. But okay, I can go here. I mean, he could do the knight takes pawn, and then I'll do knight takes knight, and he takes. May be good for him, but I don't know how helpful this knight is. But I mean, and if his bishop is going to be able to get back in the game, or what I want to do with my knight, if I just want to kick his queen, I mean, he could take the. I think that's okay for me. We'll have to see if he takes the knight. I take his queen. He takes my queen. I take his bishop, and we'll have some fun. Okay, so this is fun at this point. Yeah, I have to take his queen because otherwise he's going to take that pawn. I don't think I had anything. So I thought I was going to take his bishop. Although I'm not sure what I'm threatening. You say you're not actually threatening anything, maybe. So I'm going to see if he just takes my knight, take his bishop. So at this point, the ball's in his court. He's got a substantial amount of material, queen, knight, and bishop. And so he just decides to take, and I take. And so I think that exchange worked out better for me because I busted up his structure, and my bishop is still somewhat on his king. So I think, relatively, I'm in a better situation than I was after that exchange. So, that's an interesting move. If I take, he brings his knight in, and the threat on this square there. So, I could play like a bishop here, and we could have like a rinse and repeat, or I could do like a bishop here. I think I'm going to go for bishop here because he only has 2 knights right now. So he doesn't have a pawn here. Even if he takes the pawn, he can't do knight takes pawn. Like if he could do knight takes pawn, that might be interesting, but that leaves like mate in one because like pawn here may be mate. Like if he has a pawn here, I mean with my bishop here, I could take with the rook. So he takes, I take, and he could either block. So he doesn't even try blocking. So I got to take the rook. Like I went into it this far, I got to take the rook. So he could try bishop there. And, I could take king here, knight check here, king here, and he could do rook there, and that's going to mate. So I can't take. I'm going to get mated if I do that. But here he doesn't have anything. He only has 2 knights. Like he could try knight check here immediately. I don't even see how he makes a threat, like, relatively here. I mean, but it doesn't mean I'm winning because, at the end of the day, he just took my knight, and almost like I could do. He doesn't have a diagonal, so like if I play rook here and like force him to do knight here, but I mean, what happens if I just play like queen here? Or what happens if I play bishop here? Like I need a knight, so I could play here, and then he has to block with the knight. But he might still be safe. I could play like a bishop down here, check, because he just doesn't have anything. And this is a pretty powerful move, because if he blocks, he really has to block with a knight here. I mean, if he blocks with anything here, I could probably mate him just with like bishop or rook down here. So I think I got him here. I think this is going to be mate. So you're like, it was an interesting trade-off. You know, so okay, so he goes this way, and yeah, I'm pretty sure that's just going to be mate, because whatever he put, he's got to put the knight, and then I'm going to take it. Oh, did I mess that up? No, I thought I could play queen here. No, I thought I was going to play queen here. I thought I was going to play queen there and mate him, but it's not so quick. So I may have messed that up. But he doesn't have any good material. So if I play like pawn takes bishop, he doesn't actually have anything immediate on me. So if I do like pawn here and it doesn't mate, so I'm just going to take the bishop, because I don't actually see him having anything. And like if he places the knight there, that may be enough. I don't even have to take it. Like even if he plays like knight here, I could play king here or king there, or I could take it. And if he plays, so I think I'm in pretty good position. So thank you. I wanted to look for a mate. I thought maybe I had a mate, but yeah, the rook is in a very good piece for him here. And now I have one more bishop. So like the problem was pawn there, and so I think this is enough now. I mean, if he does, I think that's enough. Like if he, I mean, I guess he could play his rook there. I mean, yes, I just don't think he has anything. I mean, obviously, oh shit, no, he could. Am I wrong? Okay, so I missed queen there first. So I got to play rook here, and I got to play king here, and I got to run. I mean, he's got knight check, and then I'm running. So I didn't want, like, I thought I had better than this, but now, okay, so you got a game. Okay, so we got an exciting game. I guess this is the first board. We got 6 people watching, and I think I black with the pawn. What's his idea? I think if I just, I'm not sure what his idea. I black with a pawn, then my knight is running, and looking pretty good. It's looking like I'm going to knock off the number 1. So good for those people competing. Doooovid, you know, streaming is very likely to knock off the number 1. He doesn't, you know, even have a good check or follow up or anything here. I'm just take. You know, he's only got 2 pawns left. I mean, it's one of those fun games. Like literally, he's only got 2 pawns left. So that was a pretty good game. You know, I never played this guy, so thank God. That was beautiful. You know, I still got to win. So, you know, it's not over. He doesn't have any material. So, let's do, I guess, bishop there. I got 2 queens. So don't forget 2 queens is powerful. Okay, thank God. Okay, so I didn't completely embarrass myself. Played a while, was able to take down the number 1. None of the killers were there. I was surprised. Like I put myself into the Crazy House World Championship, and I actually went like 3 rounds. Mr. Smith. Okay, yeah, appreciate it. This is more like a ramble. I'm trying to say somewhat thoughts related to different things, but I was just going to read that paper from the PhD thesis of this guy going over the roaring, going over the various theories of how the mind forms thought related to chess. And, just so I covered the main studies, the Chase and Simon and Gobitz and yeah, so he doesn't play the most pressing, like Bishop pin here. I actually have a plus record, so he's gotten better. He's probably cruising for a victory here against me. But so I guess I'll go here. I mean, let him take it. This is his idea. So the computer might even recommend that move. I think actually that move. So it's interesting. The idea of larger chess in AI that I was talking about is just how the power of following the computer's recommendation. I think I could almost sacrifice a knight. I mean, knight here. He's basically got to take, but he's got 2 bishops, and immediately he's getting a bishop here. If I do nothing, he's getting his bishop on this pin, and it's annoying. So I could do like bishop takes knight, and then like that might work. So there's my idea. Bishop takes knight, knight here, because now if he takes, I take, he can't. Okay, so he has to go back. So how did that help me? Or did it help me? So at least I stopped him from doing the pin. That pin was coming and it was annoying. So at least my minimal goal of stopping him from doing that was largely achieved. And now I go there, he's just going to take. So I think I got a bishop here. So he let me get the initiative here, like that knight move there, and now he's even giving me that material. So so it's ironic, like he even gave me material. Like I played this questionable line that probably wasn't even that good, and he ended up like sacrificing material to me. So that's the irony, like a fear factor type thing. You were saying like so the problem is he's just gonna play bishop there and double up. This is a really difficult weakness to deal with. Okay, so he takes. At least now I could sacrifice my rook, or I got a bishop. So like those pins are horrible. So even like I wasn't so convinced that my play was all that great, but it scared him enough that he played a little bit scared, and now we have this position, and it's problematic. My knight is on the rim here, which was good for him. If I play like bishop here, it's just ugly. Like bishop here is ugly. I don't have a good queen sacrifice to play like here, knight there. I guess it's probably my best option. At this point, I think it's my best option. So the idea is that if he takes the queen, I'm on his pawn here. So I probably can't do knight takes right away. He only has 1 knight. So if he tries bishop there, if he had a pawn, it'd be annoying. But I said, like, he doesn't have a pawn. If he uses the knight here right away, so he decides to play it safe. I got to come up with something. I have these rooks. I got to come up with. I mean, the problem is I sacrificed the rook. I don't have a direct follow-up. If I do, knight takes pawn. I guess I just have to retreat. I really don't want to retreat, but at least I have the two bishops to play, so I'm going to have to start playing a little bit faster. If he does bishop here, I could probably play bishop here and sacrifice an exchange. If I could safely sacrifice an exchange. So even here, I guess that was okay. So he takes like that. So I mean, if he does bishop there, yeah. So now, if he do the double up, so that's his last bishop. So if I got three bishops. Bishops are good defenders a lot of times. So just generally, even here, I think, even I've given up a lot of material, and it's got to be bad. But it's still unclear. Saying I gave up a lot of material. He didn't take the rook. Now he might have a hard time extracting. So I think the idea is if he takes the knight, I'm going to take this knight, and then he's just left with two rooks and a queen. So the material balance here is a little bit weird. That yeah, so that's a good move. Although, yeah, I was losing that rook anyways. So, like I was going to lose one rook anyways. So now, he only has these rooks. He has to take this rook even, just to get another rook. Then I could take his knight. So definitely take that knight. And I got to hope that my squares are covered and he's got nothing. And that, I mean, he's still in good position, but it's saying I hope that I could quickly drop material in a defensive way that outpaces oh, yeah, they'll do it. Yeah, unfortunately, that probably will mate me. I forgot about that. I mean, I didn't have to take that, but yeah, he was looking pretty good anyways. But now he's got all these rooks, so that will be mate. Congratulations, king sacrifice. And actually, I had a plus record against you before that. So another common player. Pretty quickly, I didn't berserk because I'm commenting, so my rating advantage plus his berserk gives me pretty good chances. So the pawn maneuver there. Okay, like this because I got bishop takes pawn, so I think I'm okay because bishop takes pawn, knight, and then I could castle. So this knight, do I retreat it? Take it? Yeah, I don't really want to let him open up that rook file. I almost thought like knight there, but like you definitely don't want to open up that rook file. Attack queen here. Take this bishop. And go here. So push in on him a little bit. So now bishop's covering that square. And I'm probably going to have to give up my queen. So this is kind of dumb, giving up my queen, even like a dumb way. But the knight is looming on him in multiple ways, and I think I'm relatively safe here. Although like a knight here could put me off balance, possibly. Okay, so yeah, so the problem with streaming, it's hard to keep on rambling, and I wanted to ramble on my thought, but then I get into these competitive games. In the competitive games, I'm just rambling about what I'm thinking, which is actually the heart of these experiments was rambling about thinking. So I got to take. I got these squares covered, so it takes back that way. So let me just go here. So if he takes with the knight, then I'm giving myself a square. So he could do it like that, but then, okay, I'm going to go back. But now he could just do pawn here. So that was dumb. That was really dumb. So now you could do, okay, that's not a threat, but do I have a threat? So you pawn here. I'm definitely not taking that bishop to open up his file. So, okay, so he messed up. His knight was blocking that fork. I thought about forking him. And so that's like one of these common errors that they talk about all the time in chess. I mean, almost definitely has to take that because of, but those are one of these common errors where it was defended on the last move. The move before it had been defended, and therefore it's hard to see that so to say the next move that it's not going to be defended. And I'm not even sure he has a direct threat, although I don't either. So I mean, I don't want to play bishop takes there. I got to do something. I mean, otherwise he's just going to do pawn there, and I'm going to be screwed. So if I'm not mating him, I could be in trouble. So I guess if I do queen there. Okay, so he takes immediately. So let me get this pawn in here immediately. So he can't place the bishop there. And then I'll place that bishop there. And I'm not sure if he has enough. So yeah, I mean, he does knight there, but it's not even a mate threat yet because I have my queen on it. So I'm not sure. I mean, what happens if I take all his knights? So I'm running out of time here too. So I do bishop takes this knight. I don't want to give him my queen for nothing, but I could take take that bishop and then take this knight. I think I'm protected against checks, although like I gave up my advantage. So I'm supposed to beat this guy rating wise, and he berserked me. So say it's hard to talk and play at the same time. Well, I think that's what he wanted to do. Check there. Let me do a knight. Takes. So he takes with a pawn. I mean, he's got to come up with a threat. That is a mate threat. Okay, let's do this knight check. Will it? So unclear if I have an after threat. So is he threatening something? And he's obviously queen takes pawn. Could be a serious threat. Taking the bishop. I don't even have a check on him. So I mean, queen takes pawn is, I guess, his main threat. Bishop here. I mean, if I do just like a defensive move, that's probably bad. But so I guess I got to do this. And if he has mate sacking the queen, so be it. I mean, he doesn't take. So try this. One thing that blocks the mate he had before, and I'm attacking the queen to make a mate threat. So it's going to come right down to the lane. A time thing. There's stuff all over the place. Rook there. I'm going to just play here. I got enough material covering these squares as long as I don't make the wrong square. And then, okay. So make a move. Although didn't do anything. So I just spit out a bunch of checks, although none of them do anything. I don't even know why he's thinking. He should have just beat me. What's he thinking about? Oh, he had lag. So if he does... that was really bad. That was pretty bad. That was pretty ugly. Sorry about that. You see the playing. It's like, what am I playing chess for? That's why I decided just to stream this, because I want to move into researching thought, chess, consciousness, and thinking like, okay, like yes, according to Cleveland, it's a natural human desire to win. I'm glad I won and he lost, and he's certainly upset that he lost and I won. And if he had won, he would be glad he won, and I would be upset that I lost. And factually, when you play chess, it's a form of combat, and your ego becomes tied into it, and you don't want to lose. So the idea of, okay, why do I play chess? I play chess to largely enlarge my ego, to demonstrate some sort of achievement, and even if it's intellectual, that my goal is to be a better thinker. So I'm playing chess. I'm telling these people these things because my larger goal is to be a better thinker and be able to understand more complicated things. And that's why I play chess. It's a good form of mental exercise. Okay, so I think I could do like this. And I guess I take. I mean, he's going to give me the rook. I'm not sure his calculation. So, okay, he gives back. I'm not sure if he has anything with that. And I'm not even sure he's developed. I mean, I want to go back on just pawn here, right back on him. Saying that I think that exchange favored me again. So me and him, the first time we played last time, we had a similar thing with a little exchange in the opening, and it was, I was unclear going into it who's it going to benefit, or whatever. But I think it largely benefited me, and I guess even here, knight here, and so he takes first. I think that was a mistake. And I probably should have thought about that and calculated. So you see, I didn't even think to calculate that. I just moved. And, he could even try like a knight check here just to open me up, but I don't think that helps. So maybe, okay, so so I'm going to play here, which may not have been the best. He might be able to run, but I think I could be defended from mate. I probably should have thought that out a little bit better, but I'd wanted him to force him to use his knight. I guess that's why I did it. But at this point, I think I've curried enough advantage that I don't see it for him. I mean, he has the knight check, and he just run over with the king, and he has the second knight. Okay, so it is the position I find. I mean, he could do bishop takes pawn, then I do queen takes bishop, and then he could win the queen. But I don't think that's going to work for him. I think his king's too exposed. I'll have like the bishop. I could play like bishop there, and then immediately bishop here or something like that. So, my kingdom for a pawn. If he had one more pawn, he would have mated me there. But he's short one pawn. I guess this is what the bughouse players call sack sitting. Because his play was dependent upon material that he doesn't have, like it was bughouse, like he's yelling to his partner, give me this, give me that, but he's not getting it because it's not bughouse. And so now I'm going to drop one more bishop just because he's got nothing. Be careful to not take this knight. If I played bishop takes this knight, it would still be smothered mate. So I'm just going to take that knight. I'll pop a knight down, and then I mean, I could really just take this one. He takes, so thank God this worked out really good for me. Like I can't imagine not winning this. So it was like the exchange in the opening looked like it favored me a little bit. Like his pawn on h3 didn't quite work, and then I gotta come up with something. So I mean, he's threatening this bishop. So I guess just here, I was looking how to do it. So he only has one queen to place. So I mean, these are the ironic situations where the total material, but he only has a queen to place. I mean, take that, but he just got like nothing, and now that knight is going to be probably painful. I think I'm just going to take the pawn, and I have 6 pawns here. So he does not want to go to a white square. Saying if he goes king here, like I'm gonna, if he doesn't go to a white square, I mean, he really had to go to a white square. So I guess I'll just play pawn here. So now he's I'll bring my bishop out. Let's get rid of a little more of his material. So this is almost just like fun here at this point. Like this is fun. This is the type positions that this is why we play Crazy House, is for positions like this. Because it's just kind of fun mental calculation of how do you mate your opponent, and there's so many ways to do it. It's fun. And so it's not fun to be in my opponent's position here, relatively, but he doesn't really even have any threats. So I could just win his queen because he doesn't even have a threat on me. Like he can't even do anything on me. So I think I'm just going to win the queen. I probably had a direct mate, but just he's in number 1. He probably still has chances of winning this tournament. So I think I'm going to get him again. It was a similar thing that happened last time, where it was kind of the opening, and I got a little bit better out of the opening, and then he didn't really recover. And then he pushed. So I got a little bit better out of the opening, and then he pushed his attack to a point where he just sacrificed too much material. So it was a pretty good game. I mean, he's in number 1. He's got a lot better chance of winning this than me, even though I'm 2-0 against him, because he's playing faster. If I was just playing to win, maybe I'd be competitive with him. But I mean, he did, so to say, everything right, but his attack fizzled, and then I just had too much material. So it's definitely, those are the fun games to play. That's why people play Crazy House, because it's fun. So you got a few people in the chat looking for another game. Do I have okay, so this guy's a top player. I played him in the league. He was pretty strong when I first started playing. He's still pretty strong now. Solid player all around. I think a lot of my victories are on time, relatively. Solid player. However, give some chances in that causing a lot of my victories to be on time. So I'm not sure how big of a difference if the knights are out, if he goes for queen here, but I didn't play d5. So the advantage here of knight f3, like this I did computer analysis on because it's pretty annoying. So if I do like pawn here, he could already annoy me quite a bit. And I forget if he could play knight here right away. I think if I do like queen here, he could play like knight here right away. Play like bishop here. Then he's going to play knight here right away. So, this is opening prep relatively. And I think I messed this up, although, it's probably not the end of the world. But, that's why I haven't played in like a month. And, so my opening prep is like not even close. And that's kind of why I wanted to talk this through somewhat from my own perspective. So what happens? I mean, he does knight takes, and then I could, just give back the, because he takes with a queen. Knight here was a threat, or bishop here. So I'm going to do pawn there. So I think I do bishop here. Now if he does pawn here, I could develop a bishop. So he may have blown his opening. I see I got the finisher watching. Thank you. I get the finisher watching. I'm an expert chess player. I studied theory under the finisher. And so saying, the fact that I even made it to the Crazy House World Championship, it's not necessarily expected from my ability as a chess player. Even when I was researching all the stuff I did in my last video about chunking, all of the scientific evidence shows that chess mastery is not related to general intelligence, which is interesting and somewhat what I was relating to Week in Review about free will and thought in general, that even though people in our own minds have an understanding of why we do what we do, there's actually a substantial amount of evidence that we don't actually do things, so to say, because the reason we say we do them. And it's almost like actually obvious that, because, well, no, I mean, did anyone think that people do things because the reason they say they do things? So, I mean, pawn here, knight takes, simple calculation, but yeah, I think pawn here and the queen trade, I think, is okay for me. So this is a good player. I'm actually a stronger over the board player than him, a quicker player. And so it's like obviously a lot of my victories are directly because of that. And I think I'm just going to take the knight and block with the pawn. So I'm not sure what he wanted to accomplish with that. Honestly, I think that worked out better for me. So, I mean, thank God I have a pretty good record against PKR, even though he's, better than me, relatively over the board. But I have to say, I think I'm better here. And I mean, I see, from the perspective, like I showed you the hilltops of prophecy at the beginning of the video, where, one person saw really, really far, but someone else saw further. And that was classically how people thought, what was the difference between a good chess player and a better chess player, is that they see further, and even when I teach kids, I usually use that as an example, because on the beginning level, it largely is that way, that the difference between a good chess player and a lesser one is largely, what is he doing here? I mean, he definitely could attempt something. I mean, just take, it's a free pawn. I mean, he could take back the knight. So, I mean, this is the De Groot study. I mean, the finisher, I don't know if he's watching my video or watching the game, but I mean, De Groot had his study by looking at complicated positions like this and asking excellent players, the top players, how they thought about it versus average players. And like Doooovid, okay, I'm an expert player, might be able to you move through something. But like honestly, like I don't know what he was thinking. I mean, I guess like he has got like a bishop there chance, but like now I have a lot of material for this. Like I could almost do pawn here immediately. Like even if he threatens the rook, like I almost have pawn here immediately winning. I mean, even if his idea was knight here, I could do pawn here and force his bishop back probably, or I just move rook back and then sack the rook for the knight. And then the question is we're going to sack the queen. So I have quite a bit of material. I think I'm just that's probably the safest. And if he moves back with the bishop, I'll have to consider the best move that I have. That's a finisher type move. I have a lot of material here at this point, and he almost had to do that. And the question, what's the best way for me to move forward? Is it better to attack the queen with like bishop here, and then if he make him waste his pawn? I think I like that. You can just keep on this file. Might have something coming up with like knight at e4 if he's not careful, where he places his queen. Bishop, he's defending on the queen. I mean, I don't think he could sack his queen for the bishop. It just doesn't do anything. This bishop, I could hit this pawn. So I definitely think I'm a favorite here. It's interesting, say, to analyze the game, what happened, PKR, like, where did it go bad? I don't even mind. Like, I'm glad he did that. Like, when he's going to sack his queen, or he's going to, I mean, if he uses the knight here, then I just take it and not to say his attack is over. I have to be careful, but I think my attack, I'm just going to have so many pieces to tempo on his queen. And it said, like, he's going to lose, like God forbid, I was saying about, I'm just going to take the pawn, keep the time pressure on, like Blitznor. A lot of my wins against these guys who I perform well against, or about my own strength, is because they're slow. And so it's hard to see if that's even really a threat. Because knight here is certainly a threat, and I don't know what his threat here is. Knight here is a serious threat, and I don't even see a threat he could make. And he has to defend against it, and let me just place a few pieces. Why not? I mean, you could take the knight, but I don't think it's that strong to knights. Get another knight right in there. So I'm going to get the same fork anyways, all that, and I get the same thing with more pieces placed on the board. So I mean, the pressure got to him. Maybe he had something going. I think I'm better off just not even taking that. I mean, let's do this first. But, certainly I'll try that first. And I mean, if he does the pawn, I have a time advantage. So I mean, I could just, I think I'd just take the rook, and he just doesn't have anything. I mean, if he plays pawn there first, I think king here, and I'm fine. Although it is a little bit risky. Saying like, could be, I mean, there's a tiny bit of risk. Like if all of a sudden lost here, it wouldn't be completely, surprising. But like, I think I'm one here, and like pawn here is a serious threat in mate. I mean, so this is just going to be mate, I think. Although his knight's on it, but he's going to lose on time. So just play the check this way, and I mean, he's lost on time anyways. But he doesn't even have anything to place. So I mean, I guess just be a cheap time win. Okay, sorry about that, PKR. I mean, he's a good dude. Like, chess is hard to make friends. That's why chess isn't a friendly game. Saying like, are any of these people really my friends? And say like, no, I didn't really make any friends playing chess. And it's hard to say even that, I wouldn't be playing chess if I wanted to make friends. Like, it's hard to make friends because chess is naturally a competitive thing. So like, yeah, I mean, PKR is a pretty nice guy. I've always been friendly with him, and it's his nature on the chessboard also is, relatively plays very solidly, and I just have a slight advantage largely on time. But if you say our play is relatively equal. Like we both study theory from the finisher and use computer analysis, but at the end of the day, I'm quicker. And the games will show that even though he's higher rated than me, like Banana Joe also is largely the same thing. Blitznor is largely the same thing also, but he has a better record against me anyways. But the ones that they get, it largely comes down to time and just over a period that they stop. They just can't get an advantage, and the situation flows back and forth. I mean, the fun of Crazy House is it doesn't get to an end game in a grind. Someone goes for a wild attack, and then the other guy could go for a wild attack back, and so on. So they're holding me quite a while. Like I have some pretty tough opponents. My average opponent's been 2,000. I'm actually playing over strength. So it's interesting. I read in the theory, and it clearly said that taking a break benefits your play. And a certain amount, like in the chunking theory. And the real reason I'm streaming and doing this anyways is the chunking theory. And saying because I've played so much chess, I'm using chess to study chunking theory. And it said that according to, so to say, the experts, bishop here. I mean, he's basically given me a semi-equal position, and there's different ways I could handle it. I got to take with the bishop. Got to take with the knight. I walk into my own fork, and I do like a knight here, and prevent him from doing this fork on me right away, or get back a bishop. So to some extent, like I've got somewhat equality out of the opening, although that's not guaranteed. There are some threats. Like I'm not sure. I should probably sack my queen here. Like relatively, I don't think he has mate. Like he needs another knight. He has two knights. So the problem, I take the queen, and I think I have to. I mean, I could play bishop here, and then no. I mean, it doesn't work. I have to sack my queen. So this position is a position that requires my queen being sacked. Oh, actually, I got to check. I ordered food from Amazon, so if my Amazon order comes in the middle, will interrupt my stream. So, wow, he takes it back. Well, I'm not sure about that. I mean, I see that like that he did that, but like, I mean, my idea was taking that pawn. So now his threat is definitely much slower. I think I could just do like pawn here. So he kind of takes the wimp way out, but I'm not sure. Did he win material here? Knight, so we got that knight. I think we'll try bishop here. I'm going to take that knight. Okay, better win that rook. I mean, he takes the rook. Yeah, I didn't think he could. We're taking that, but then I could be in some trouble here. I got to come up with something smart. I need like a tempo. I need to find a way to tempo him or something like that, or even a threat. Like I guess I'll just do rook here, but now I'm down a decent amount of material. So at least I have like a threat, and okay, so. Okay, so I sacrificed too much material here. It's not looking good, but now at least I have a tiny bit of material to work with. So this is looking pretty good for him. I would have to say I mean, he could almost do like queen takes pawn, but like, you know, I got a tiny bit of material, so it's a question how he tries to go about making progress here, or whether he consolidates. So if he wants to place defensive material, I mean, he should try to find move that's attacking and defending at the same time, obviously. And so better just go here. I could probably go here, but that allows him, like, the complete sack. So I played pawn. So I gotta hope I could. I mean, he could just do like pawn here, and okay. So I'm actually glad he did that. I was scared he was going to put a pawn here. So for me, I had the largest fear about a pawn there. Although, this could be just as annoying. So if I go up, he definitely has rook. And then I have to take, and it's unclear whether I have anything. So if I just run, I'm like almost certainly losing. So I guess at this point I do bishop, and he's probably just going to rinse and repeat. And say most likely he just rinses and repeats, and that's probably good for him, because we're going to do knight here. So this is almost certainly winning for him. Almost minimal circumstance I could even have. I just don't even have, like, if I could have had like a square for my knight to even threaten his queen with check, but I didn't even have that. So my attacking potential is basically nil. So, although now I have 2 rooks, so I don't think. He's almost got mate no matter what. I mean, here was definitely safer, but if he takes this pawn, I got nothing. I mean, I got nothing basically no matter what, but I wanted to at least be in a better position where he takes the pawn. So, obviously knight here, knight there is a big threat, and so I got a block, and then he could just win the material. I don't even have any counterplay. So this is just a fun game. I say this is why people play Crazy House. So this game here is why he plays Crazy House. Saying because it's just one, and just give him the mate. I can't stop it anymore. But me could have just made me any. There was no way to stop a mate in any way at all. So a little bit random. I got high tea with the Trump. So people are excited about Trump in the UAE. And I've been mentioning that related to chess, that, you see that Saudi Arabia and the UAE and these countries have been sponsoring chess. And it's kind of like the money is karma. People follow the money. And you're saying, like, what do you know about the top chess players? Like, usually they just take whoever donates the money. So if it's Iran, Saudi Arabia, UAE, donating the money for these tournaments, generally the top players have went there. And even when they had the championship in Iran a few years ago, most, like, any call for a boycott was largely failed. It didn't seem, relatively realistic for anybody to boycott and not go there. A handful of people, like, even mentioned the concept of boycotting, and but it didn't go that far. And I'm not even sure if any of the players, like, they ended up letting Israel go there. So there'd been a threat of a boycott because they weren't going to let the Israeli players in. And that maybe would have been a boycott, but I mean, it could be that even that there really wouldn't have been a boycott over just letting Israeli players in. I think this move is bad. So I mean, this is coming to the opening preparation. So I had this position a few games ago, and saying like it's largely opening preparation, and I'm not sure how if he went about this right. I mean, so he got a little bit scared, and you'll play to move and knight here, knight there, because like I would have sacked my queen. If he hadn't done that, I would have sacked my queen. I even still might sack my queen, but probably not. So at this point, I probably just got to go back. I don't want to give him another tempo, so I'm just going to go back. And so bishop here is a threat, but how big of a threat is it? I think it's okay. So if he takes my bishop, fine. Take back. Okay, so he takes the pawn. So if I go through with this, I basically have to. I mean, at this point, I don't have to take his knight. He doesn't, have any strenuous threats on me. I could just do like knight here and let him go back. Obviously, you could play like bishop. If I don't take the knight, he pop like a bishop right in there on me. So I should probably take it. And if I take the knight, then I have to sack my queen. And I probably got to take the knight. But okay, so let's do it. Okay, so he doesn't even go for that. So now I have some threats. I didn't really have a good diagonal, but I thought at this point, like the idea of bishop there was that he was threatening my queen. So now he's not threatening my queen. And what happens if I rinse and repeat? Does he have enough to mate? Like bishop there, queen takes bishop, bishop there, like sack for that. I'm just going to go for it. If he has me, he has me. Let's do it. Oh, so he has me. So I said if he has me, he has me. And, so it's relatively, it's ironic because I wanted to try to understand this idea that how people explain what they're thinking about doesn't actually correspond to the evidence of what people are thinking about. And that the chess studies have ironically demonstrated, that what people, when you ask people what they were thinking about versus actually the evidentiary things that you could determine people were thinking about, and then you have to, from the scientific view, when I go further on these streams, we'll talk about the 7 scientific evidentiary things that you could do to try to have some sort of you sort of say opinion of the thought process from looking at chess. Okay, so this is a known opening position, and it's a queen sack, and it's interesting. It's fun, So the moves here. This is your well computer researched, well known chess theory. I'm going to do an added bishop here before I take the knight. You'll see what he does. So he uses the pawn, and now his king is relatively safe. He's got to go a chance to try to do something on my king, but it's unclear. I almost wanted to play queen here, but it's not mate. But I think I'm just going to move that knight. The knight's a liability. He can't, I mean, because the pin wasn't really a pin. If he takes the rook, I just take the pawn and he's in deep trouble. So, yeah, the weakness of the last move there was the pawn. So try here. Knight check there. Threatens to win the bishop. It might be enough trade. So So I do knight takes knight. Let's try it. I think knight takes knight because of this. So I don't know if I'm mating here. I mean, I could obviously just put a pawn here, so I think I'm okay that I like. If my attack here doesn't work, I'm still okay. But I thought that this would probably be winning. That I mean, if he tries, I have two knights. I mean, if he tries like king here, I could just do a knight, and then pawn here is just powerful. Queen's coming in there, and he's getting mated or knight out. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be mate. I got two knights. So, he could run back. That knight there was probably a weak move. He should probably run this way now. And I may have blundered my material. So now if I do pawn here, I guess I'm just going to go for it. I mean, I could try to calculate it out, but the problem is, you're trying to win the tournament. Like, trying to win. I want to get a fast result. But I think I just do knight check here, and take the piece. So at this point, I'm actually up material also. I'm actually only up one piece. All this, he's got pawns for it, but let's take the pawn because this knight's on the rim anyway. So if he takes this knight, I just take back because that knight was on the rim anyways, and my king is relatively safe. I could just put like a pawn here, or depending on what he does, but I don't even see like. I mean, he only has a knight. He doesn't even have that huge substantial amounts of material. But even if he did have huge substantial amounts of material, it's unlikely that he would vast achievements and okay, so I'll just take that and then take the rook. Try bishop here. And pawn here. Pawn here. What am I doing? Like, this is just ugly. This pawn here is like annoying. Like, I'm looking for like that. Like, there's some way like I could just take this pawn and let it go a little bit further. He has only got one knight, but like now I'm starting to suffer here a little bit. But if he goes here, at least I get another pawn before I take back and get my bishop in the rank of defense. So, I mean, he doesn't have any good moves. I mean, giving me a pawn here, blocking probably isn't going to help him. So king here is basically his only moves, and I'll take that pawn. And yeah, blocking's not really going to help him. So, okay, I got him on the ropes here. Got his king all the way over there. My king, I still got a ton of pieces around my king. So you just see the geometry here, all these pieces on the side of the board he has. But he's in quite a bit of trouble because okay, just gonna go back. So he doesn't have a second knight. He just doesn't have, if he rook takes pawn, knight takes rook, knight check here. He doesn't even have a smothered. You're gonna take with the knight. So this is kind of boring. You know, like chess at the end of the day, it is not exciting. All these people like streaming. It's hard to make chess interesting at the end of the day. It's probably a pretty good move, but still not sure if he has a knight square. I don't know if doing knight check here first helps, or like a rook check in the hope that I'm going to have some positive check. So, okay. You do the rook takes pawn, and then king here, and then pawn there. I mean, I think I have all my squares covered. So, I don't see it. Oh, I missed that. I thought I had all my squares covered. But no, I forgot that, like, so now he could put his queen down. So I thought I had all my squares covered, but then I forgot about this, but I think I'm still okay. And his king is still pretty precarious, or at least like a perpetual or something that you know, rook here is almost mate. So I mean, he's down to not that much material. Like king here, his bishop doesn't have anywhere to go. So time is ticking down. Few seconds left. Does he try something? And so he tries that. So here we go. Run, run, run. And does he even have another check? Okay, so I guess that was fun. Keep chess a little bit fun. I'm not even playing competitively because I'm talking. So I feel like I'm playing anyways. Why do I want to play? I want to play because I want to win and I want to show everybody I'm the best. So that's largely why I'm streaming and just talking through this, and also to clarify my thoughts on chess thinking in general. And this guy gets his things. I think I'm okay with these trades. I mean, now I think I'm okay with that. Okay, yeah, so he surrenders in the castle. Or did I fall into something? See the best way to move forward. Obviously, knight here is likely coming. I could play knight here, but that leaves open queen. Or I could even try taking first, but I don't really have anything on that. Pawn here. I could push the pawn and just encourage his knight to go where it's going anyways. If I do pawn here, I think I'll do pawn here. So if he takes and replaces with another pawn, I could... okay, this was my idea. Just bring the rook over and defend. So I have my bishop and pawn. I mean, you could take the knight, but I think I'm defended here relatively. So, I mean, you could actually play rook d1, but I think if he plays rook d1, I'm just going to play king here. And then he's letting off that square. So I think the rook d1 actually doesn't help. So it's interesting, like in the chunking theory, that they say you play better when you take a little bit of time off. So he's got something. Let's see. I got these squares pretty... Oh, okay. That he had. Okay, so yeah, it's funny to think of the blind. So it's interesting, playing here, talking, that it is fall for the blind, and even just say, while I'm talking about it, would miss something that obviously. And that's kind of the theory of chunking. and also the theory of talking through what you're thinking about. But it said in my stream the other day that the theory was, that they were going to figure out that, what makes a better chess player, what parts of thinking make a person a better chess player, but yet all efforts at that have failed, and all efforts to demonstrate that people who are good at chess have any sort of superior ability at all have also failed. That saying our chess players that are really good, smarter than your average guy, does having a high IQ make you more likely to be a better chess player? If like a little kid takes the chess and gets really good at it much quicker than other people, what does that mean? And so the scientific evidence is that it means basically nothing. I mean, not that it doesn't mean anything. There's research and show a certain level of chess thinking and um, various ideas that have demonstrated to be correlated. Remember, the annoying opening get a little bit annoying. So I placed my pieces. He's got a bishop to go. It's a little bit unclear how either one of us makes progress. I mean, he makes progress, but it's okay. So you may have capped off my progress, but I don't think that was the way to do it. To give me a bishop to just play right there. I can't imagine that was his plan. So I think I could take now. If he takes with a pawn, I'll just I didn't think he could get away with taking the pawn. Therefore, I wanted to take, and I'm not sure what I should do if I just go knight here and then take it, or do I have a strategy? Do I have some sort of attacking idea, like is knight here? I guess I'll go for knight here, because I'm not exactly sure what he could do. I mean, he could pile up the pressure on here. Okay. So he gives me the extra piece to do this. So that was my idea. And so if he retreats with the bishop, I get him to retreat with the bishop. So I think I could even do like a pawn here. So he goes that. I mean, I don't see, what is he thinking? I have my knight on both sides. What's he going to do? He's going to take. And what's his follow-up? Yeah, I guess I'm not seeing it. So I took. He doesn't even have a. So now he has a pawn. So I guess I'll just do bishop here. And if he takes, that's. I guess it takes because that allows him to take the pawn. I guess I could do bishop takes pawn. Yeah, I think that's the move. Yeah, I think I got some. Oh no, it wasn't the move. I thought it was the move, but it's not the move because unfortunately, no, he didn't. Oh man, knight takes threatened mate. So I missed that and he missed that. Unfortunately for him, that was my idea. I thought that he couldn't really take with the knight because then I could have done rook takes pawn, and then would have knight check, and who knows what would have happened. So I'm glad he chose that variation. And I think I'm just going to put a pawn in there. Okay. So does he have, But unfortunately for him, my knight comes back to defend the square. I probably, yeah, I mean, fortunately for him, I probably could have even, yeah, thank God. So I do not think he could get away with taking this pawn. And then I might be threatening to take this pawn. So definitely don't get mated. You know, if I did pawn x knight or pawn x pawn, he would have a mate threat. So I don't see his move. He doesn't even have a check now. I mean, what possibly could he have been thinking with that rook there? You know, I gotta say, like, I can't even think of what he was thinking about with that one. I guess I might as well get my queen into it. Yeah, I mean, he had blind spot there. I mean, I've been talking through this, and you see my blind spot that, you know, thank God I got this guy almost like 3-0 now. Today, I'm going to beat this guy 3-0. I'm sorry to see. You can watch the video back. Like, you know, no offense. I didn't mean to like ruin your day by beating you 3-0 today, but okay. So finish him off, and yes, I cleared my mind relatively. You know, I want to go further and start rambling and put together some of these thoughts on how the mind forms consciousness. So maybe if they give me a few weaker games, I'll get myself back into the top 10 again. My performance is not impressive at all, relatively. Although my rating is my performance rating is like at par. I think I'm not losing rating points. You know, if that's a sign of something. Pawn here is an annoying move because of the knight sack here. I don't even remember what I do if someone does pawn there right away. Like, you know, like I just cower in fear and like, oh man, they saw the right move. But yeah, most weaker players, it's maybe a bug house player actually figured that out on their own. But like in all likelihood, you know, that was computer analysis from the beginning, and the level, you know, I thought I even did in my stream how the computer looks at doing it, and you know, solving the hard problem of consciousness related to these chunking patterns. So, you know, saying the evidence shows that chess players have as many as 50 to 100,000 chunks. So the working theory, which I'm going to go on in these streams, you know, relatively hopefully soon, say that your average chess player, not your average chess player, better chess players, and that, you know, that's what makes them better chess players, is these chunks. But your better chess players have 50 to 100,000 chunks in our memory. And, you know, how big is a chunk? And if you're talking to the neural level, you know, saying that, you know, generally there's a reason why people with a background in mathematics and science excel at, you know, certain fields, because there's a strong correlation and relation to those ideas. But, you know, with you know, neurons, you might have like 10 to the 20th neurons or something like that. Win the material. I don't think pawn here. I'm just going to end up. I'm not sure how quickly I had mate. Although this was probably dumb also. Take there. I'll use this knight even. Let's see what he does. But I mean, so 100. If from a Doovidian perspective, who's a dualist, we're saying that these chunks, like a Platonic understanding, exist in the spiritual realm. That when we're talking about chunks, that that is a phenomenon of. So I'm going to go here. I think that's the quickest way to finish this off. So, I mean, he can't take it because I'm on his queen, and if his queen moves, it's, you know, basically guaranteed check and winning the queen. So I think that's, it may not, it's not, I'm not even sure if it's quite how quick the mate is if he takes, but it's probably So he doesn't take, but now just win the queen. And hopefully that's going to help. I guess I got to take the knight. So he goes like that, and this should be enough. I mean, it's sack enough, but it should be. That's mate. Okay, thank you. Okay. Yeah, so let's see if I get another game, get myself in the top 10, even try to get myself in the top 3. It's pretty competitive, and like all these guys are berserking every time, and me trying to talk and play at the same time, it's pretty unlikely I'm gonna be saying like intelligent things and have a chance to win. I get variant bunny. I wasn't really successful at making any friends playing chess. Like chess is not such a friendly game, and like my dad, like doctors, they're not such a friendly group. Like lots of people aren't that friendly, and you could say, okay, obviously everything I do, I have some sort of intention of, so to say, making friends. Like obviously, like I'm playing chess, I'd like to make friends doing it or something, but it's competitive in nature, and and the top chess players are largely gamers. And so the perspective, like Doooovid's giving you information about so last time I played knight there, and he just played rook there, and it didn't lead me anywhere. So I mean, if I just castle, he's probably going to do like bishop there, and so I'm not sure if I want to castle right away. I'm not sure his threats. But last time knight there, we had this position last game, and it just didn't really lead anywhere because rook there, and if I castle, I'm going to be in attack. So let's delay. This pawn maybe a little bit in his own way. So also now if I do knight there, he's still just going to play rook there, and it's going to be the same threats. That is a threat on this pawn. That's the main idea of his threat. I could try something like knight here, take, and I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do just like a dumb defensive move like this. I guess so. I mean, I don't want to make a weak defensive move, but he beat me last time, so I'm playing a little bit more cautiously than this time. So he's beat me quite a bit the last few games. He has really been nailing me. So like I was catching up on him for a while. I think like when I first started playing, like obviously I've been playing this game like a year now. So he makes the defensive move himself. And now if I play knight here, and now I think I do knight here, and if he plays pawn there, I go here, and this bishop is a weakness. And if he takes the knight, I could even take with the pawn if I wanted to. So I think as of now, I am the one who induced a weakness on him and probably have a slightly better position, although it's unclear how much. And even what I could do about it if I can I slow build up more pressure? Is knight takes pawn unbeneficial? Does that help him or hurt him? Or does knight takes bishop? So I'm not sure what he's going to do with the knight. So let me take like this. So he takes with a pawn. Interesting. So I mean, in that case, I am going to take, and then I'm going to move my knight here. Or maybe I'll even do a bishop check first. So he takes that way. So I got to see if I... So if he takes the knight, I have bishop check and back. So I could consider making a move like this. I'm going to make the move like this because I think it's weakening. He doesn't have pawns to safe up around his king. And this square could be a big weakness for a pawn. So that's what I thought he would do. It was my idea. Here, I mean, he's really got to waste a knight for him. Like, I mean, does he really want to waste his knight? And then bishop back pawn here. I'm going to be pretty safe. Even open up the queen. Like I think that's good for me. If he opens up the queen file, will probably benefit me. And okay, so he does open up the queen file. So if he trades, yeah. So I take his knight with check. I don't want him taking my bishop with check, so let me see that. I guess I'll do the rook here. It's going to be extra protection. Also, I got to see if my Amazon order comes. Like, definitely going to take a break from my Amazon order if it comes. And it did just go. So my Amazon order is on the way. I've switched to shopping on Amazon. So I missed the okay. So he does at D5. So he does have two knights, but I mean, not even sure. Like knight here, you just play king there, bishop there. If I have a threat, if I just did like bishop back, or do I need a threat? I don't want to lose on time. So if I do like pawn here, threatening something, knight check, knight check, and then pawn there, king takes. Knight. I guess I'm going to do it. I'm doing a little slow, and that gives him a pawn. It was probably bad. I was just losing any time. I didn't want to get defensive there because I think I sacked a tiny bit of material. So that was my idea. So obviously pawn here is probably his idea. But yeah, how many knights does he have? I mean, he's going to be like one short. Okay, so do... I'm not sure if that helps him. So now, okay, he still needs a pawn. So I still have my mate threats, and he still, I think, needs a pawn. So if he does bishop there and I take with the king, he's going to need, I think, the bishop to mate me. I mean, he takes... So, I mean, definitely got to take with the king. And I think I just go back. Oh, no, that was wrong. That was not the way to do it. That was completely blundering. Like, that's mate. Like, I had better, and then, that's just mate. I mean, if I did pawn there, that's mate in one. So you get multiple mate in one. So somehow I slipped on that. I checked my Amazon delivery. So I think I streamed like to get myself to stop playing this game. Like because I've invested so much time into chess, I'm using chess to study some of these things I'm studying, and like I don't get paid to study any of this stuff. So I mean, there's just private interesting. So just being like like a dude who plays chess, like that's what everybody is, and I guess everyone's a chess player who studies thinking. And at the end of the day, the book by my Amazon order is going to come any minute. The book by Chess and Psychology, says very clearly that we play. I lost track because I even lost track of what I was thinking myself. So that's what's going on. Okay, take that. Take that. I'm going to push there. Okay. So there's a knight there. Bishop there. Queen there. So here. I don't know. None of those are actually good moves. I don't even know what I was thinking. Maybe probably just play like queen here and attack my knight at the same time. Oh, but he takes. So I think I take his queen. Or that was his idea. Okay, so now I just get you out of there. And try like this. Although that was probably dumb, like bishop there. If he does bishop there, I probably just got to sack the queen back and do it there. So I mean, I'm not even attacking the pawn. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Yeah, the pin's annoying. I mean, I want to sack my queen because of the pin. I go here. I guess I just got to do something. So he doesn't even take. Wow, annoying. Okay, somehow I butchered that up, and then so I just sack my queen back, and now I'm down a piece. So somehow I butchered that up again. This guy has a clearly advantageous game against me again. I don't know how that happened. Shame. So, see, this knight. So what you gonna do? So that, and see here. I got another knight on the rim, doing nothing. So. So take the knight, pawn. So, I mean, he has like pawn here. I mean, bishop takes knight. At least it comes back with check. Otherwise, like pawn here. I mean, you could try pawn here first. I guess that's probably pretty safe for him. Although he does give me that. Did give me that. Didn't have to. Get something back, maybe. Maybe even like queen here. Like a weird move, but then I probably don't have to take. Well, if you're going to do it like that, okay. So what's going on? A lot of trades. Okay. So chess friendship. So are you my friend? Obviously you want to win, but he's saying you're my friend. However, you're only my friend in so much that you want to win, obviously. So give me that. Can I take? Knight takes. Okay. I don't have any material, so I almost have to take there. Guess I'm just going to pop a queen down. So if he does want to do the double knight, I'm going to have to go for it because I only have a queen. I'm going to get it on the board, try to win something. Try to have some sort of threat. You know, taking this bishop is with check. So I mean, knight here is the obvious move. I have to do pawn takes, knight takes, queen takes, and then queen takes bishop. and I might have enough to mate him. You know, he blocks with a bishop or something, probably to sack the queen. But that would give me 3 pieces. And then, you know, he's got the d7 square, but besides for an immediate attack on d7, almost defended. So he defends. I better take the pawn. And I don't have any materials, so he defended, but you know, at least they have a threat like that. It's interesting. I could do, if I do pawn here, I mean, I could try like pawn here. But I mean, then he just takes. So I mean, if I do pawn there, he probably almost definitely doing rook there. Then if I do queen takes rook, so let's try this. I'm not sure. Like I almost pop a rook back there on the other side too. Like he's almost in a mating trouble. So now he goes for that. I'm not sure about his strategy doing that now that I have a rook. So, oh, he blocks. So I can do knight check here and take first. I'm not sure if he has mate if I take. I take the queen, pawn there, and I could run. I mean, he has knight here. I've I guess I'll go back. I think I'm winning this now. So this should be a win for me. So number 3, I guess he's already down. So I'm sorry. And his streak, I mean, he could try. I mean, he takes the rook. So I probably have to check him. Okay, so I think pawn there, because then I have the threat of moving the knight, double check and mate. Okay, so I think just queen here, and then I'll take the pawn and mate. Okay, good game, chess friendship. Glad to have you my chess frenemy. Props, fun. Get Blitznor, he beat me twice. He's in first, so he's been doing his studying. He's got his rating. You know, he's kept in the top 100. I've fallen out of the top. It was competitive for a brief period of time to be in the top 100, and it really just takes quite a bit of work. So you know, saying these players I'm playing are all competitive, all like top 200 players, and okay. Okay, so my bishop there first. So that queen check there is pretty annoying. So I should want to castle before I do that. Like, so that was my idea. I'm not sure what he was thinking of that. You gonna sack his queen? I mean, I've been the whole reason I usually play bishop there right away, but queen check there was really annoying. Is why I delayed it. So it's possible because I didn't do it right away. He lost track that was my intention, and now, you know, he's really just lost a piece for almost nothing. And I should probably take the pawn or something. I'm not sure the best way to handle if taking the pawn. I don't really have a follow-up to that. I don't really have any material. I mean, I could try grabbing this pawn. I guess I guess this gives me a pawn. I forget the best way to play this. Because I do have like a whole extra queen. So, I have very serious mate threats right away. And I could almost play knight here right away. Well, I'm not sure I want to. So I think I'll just do pawn here and threaten mate. Pawn here is threatening mate. And it's threatening pawn takes pawn, which is annoying. So, because then if he does rook takes, I could queen. So this is looking pretty good. I'm not sure who this guy is. First time playing. Looks like he's played over 1,500 games, so he's some sort of a competitor. But this is looking pretty good for me. Yeah, I don't think he has a threat. I don't think he has a threat because, I mean, if he takes the knight, I just queen. And, I mean, I might not have enough threats also, but then... So... If I take his queen, then he takes with that. Taking the knight is probably better. We're taking the knight, then he takes, then I do knight here. I'm losing that. What if I play queen here? Bishop takes. Okay, so if I do the bishop, I mean he has knight. Okay, so he didn't do it. I mean he had knight there, and try to attack, but I think I could do here because he doesn't have a threat. Like I'm threatening queen takes rook. I mean if he does pawn there, so. Do I do bishop here? So I have to move bishop here, threaten mate. He's got to take with the knight. And I take with the pawn. He's got to take, and then what's my move? It's just knight here. Because his threats are still very slow. Pawn here. So although I'm not sure, he might be able to, just do something like rook here. But I got two knights, knight here, possibly a threat. I'm not sure I want to give him a knight so quickly. It depends on his move. Okay, so okay, well this rinse and repeat will give me a piece. So this is definitely, I mean, he's got to take with the bishop, and now he's seeing that I'm going to win his knight, but like I don't think, I mean, he can't move. So this is probably, now I'm going to be able to play bishop here, and oh, actually I can't win the knight. I was going to take this knight, but I don't want to lose the queen. But he really only has a bishop. So I mean, he could do pawn here, but I don't think it's going to hold. And even like that. I mean, so let me just snap that. Yeah, I'm going to win this one almost definitely, but like be a little careful, and I'll even put another piece down for safety. Maybe where's it? King here. I could almost checkmate him. Maybe he plays. If he plays king here, knight there is checkmate. I think. Yeah, I think this is checkmate. Okay, so he walked into that mate. Okay, so I'm hanging in there. I got a 60% win rate. I'm performing at about my rating, I guess. So I'm about even. Haven't been berserking. I apologize to this guy. I really had your number today. So like we never played before. Now you're even berserking me. So I apologize for having your number. If they give me white every game, I'm not sure if they gave me white every game and it was that advantage, or if it's just I studied I studied my theory with the Finn. That of course that Doooovid studied theory with the thin, like with the Finn, like of course. Um, so I guess I'll take his queen rather than taking mine, and I think I'm just a little bit ahead. I mean, I'll do it first. If he takes the pawn, I'll probably do knight takes this pawn, and then maybe he's wise to just. Knight takes pawn, take with a bishop. So I think unfortunately, it's not looking good for my friend here again. Like it might be 4-0. I apologize, but play to win. Like you look over the games afterwards. Like a lot of people, so to say, worse than you are beating me. So, but I think I just do rook here, sacrifice, and then I got knight there, and queen down. Yeah, he's not even going to try moving up, but it's going to be mate either way. Queen here. I could probably just block him off. Just go this way. Snap up some more material. Do pawn there. So if he takes with the knight, I got my knight check there, which will win more material. If he takes with the king, I could place another knight there. I mean, that's just walking into another fork. I apologize. I mean, I'm not sorry because obviously we both play to win. I don't think you expect me to be sorry for winning. So just take the pawn. He's got nothing. Like knight check. I have I'm taking my queens. Not a real threat. Taking my queens. I got mate if he does that. So taking my queens not even really a threat. I mean, even if I don't have mate, he's just losing on time, and I'm gonna win so much more material here with this. Yeah, it is mate, in fact. Taking mate. Okay, yeah, apologize about that. I've definitely been in that venue where I was almost going to win and lost a bunch of games and didn't. So, but you got my berserk. You got me in the top 10. Tough competition, chess friendship again. So let's see if I could get another victory here. It's playing these D4 lines last time. yes, I think taking's what I do. And there's some lines where I could take the pawn. I think I take the pawn here. That's the best move. Although my development is stunted now. So I think I did that before and it was just dumb because now I'm just down material. So I think I misplayed that. So I'm going to do like pawn here, then pawn here. And now knight here. Yeah, I think I'm safe. Knight here. I mean, you could do like the try bishop sack there, but I don't think it's mate because he doesn't have a knight square. So I'm going to try to win back some sort of material. So if it goes that way, I guess definitely take there. Bishop here and then open up. And bishop here and open up because I think the opening up is advantageous to me. So I mean, bishop here is so now we can play bishop here, threaten the pawn. Yeah, make him black in an annoying way. Attack from another angle, and then can consider castling. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that requires me to take it. Okay, so he gave me a little back. Oh man, he just takes my bishop and I'm screwed. You could just do like a pawn here. If he does pawn there, I could move my queen up. I mean, you just pawn there, I'm moving my queen up. That was my idea. So I just needed. I think I gotta play rook here. And you could do like a pawn there, but then I got knight there. Okay, bishop there. So I need a threat pretty quickly. Just there. Just pawn there. I think that's okay. That was still my idea. Oh, shit, that's mate. That's even mate. Okay, good job. Chess friendship. Got me again. Congratulations, good work. Okay, so clearing my mind. I guess I'm going to try to stream the whole thing and say, like, I'm not really friends with any of these people who play. And I've been playing for like a year, and I'm still not friends with any of these chess players. So, like, I do have a handful of people watching me. I'll probably watch this back later. And largely, I guess I'm doing this to clarify some of my thoughts on my study of consciousness and just to use myself as my own example of kind of talking these things through or thinking about it. And I just don't have quite enough interest to do regular chess, so I'm doing Crazy House. This guy might be strong enough to play at h3 right away. I mean, that's like the annoying move, but then also queen bishop takes pawn right away might be a threat worth reckoning. So I mean, if he just does like knight there, that's probably not good enough. Like he has to do pawn at h3 because I can't take it because of the fork on my king and queen. So that's generally the worry of these d4s, that pawn on h3 or various forks. So he doesn't go for any of that. It allows me to just play pawn here, which I'm not sure if I should just bring my queen back, if I should castle, or if I should just go for the attack. The problem once I go pawn here, I get into a hard position to defend pawn there. If he does pawn there, pawn takes pawn, pawn takes pawn, pawn takes rook, and then king takes. I guess I'm just going to go pawn here. I want to threat. Like if he was going to do pawn there, he probably would have done it last move. That's really the only move I'm scared of. Like if he does knight there, I could just move my rook over, and I think I'm doing pretty good. So actually, I'm pretty happy with this position. I have a look at the computer, just thinking it through. I haven't played for a few months, and I haven't checked computer analysis or went over. I played a few times on chess.com, but I didn't go over analysis or check my games. So it's a type thing, the chunk, where if you look in what the computer recommends versus results, like it's like I know I'm scared of this position because historically, people play pawn at h3 and like it's annoying and I don't know what to do. I'm gonna take that. That's pretty weird. I'm gonna just pop that pawn in there right away and win his rook. I mean, I don't. I gotta admit, I got two knights here now too. So I mean, rook here is like is a mate threat. So now he's got nothing. Like somehow he butchered this and blundered it. I can't imagine him being able to come back from this. But I could almost do knight takes pawn and win the queen. I mean, knight takes pawn to get the queen. But I think we do rook here. Yeah, I just take this. I got knight check. I forgot that he's winning my queen too, but I think it's okay. So I got 3 knights should be enough. So he doesn't. I mean, he doesn't have anywhere near enough material without winning my queen. And I think it wins my queen. I should have mate no matter what. And obviously there, I'm just gonna take that way. Okay. So sorry about that, Nuber. Oops. Yeah, I could have just played queen there right away. So let's play the pawn there. I could just do queen takes bishop next move if he moves his king back as the mate threat. Maybe king there. Yep, okay, so that was the idea. I mean, I could have just done knight check there too, but he can't take the queen because mate in 1. Okay, sorry about that, noobs. So he's just extending now. The material deficit is just too much. Okay, so actually I'm gaining rating points, am I? Up rating points. I can't get a streak together. Variant Bunny ahead of me. Blitznor, congratulations. Over 2,300 today. Props, very good. I lost the chess friendship a few times. Good for him. He's ahead of me. So 30 minutes left. Banana Joe, right there on me. So I'm not even competitive for the top 10. Like there's a lot here. And I mean, you see this I am Spinal Tap. The finisher is going to finish you all. So it's just kind of like, you're like, I'm better than you. Ha, ha, ha. Which is basically the nature of chess. Because like, if at the end of the day you win, what did you win? So, okay, my friend here from Iran, it's saying, okay, he's my friend from Iran, but like, we both want to win. Like neither one of us are playing to lose. And so it's not like money. Like if anyone follows me in your discussions, I will comment on the similarity between karma and the interplay between the physical and spiritual realm and money. And so saying, so you win at chess, you don't actually get money. So you say, go, money is not the most important thing in the world, and like obviously, however, money is a tangible thing that you could do something with. So chess rating, so I say, is not a tangible thing that you could do something with. And so that's just important part. I actually thinking Blitznor, who beat me, I've had these positions many times. I think, unfortunately, pawn here is a big threat. So he fell for a tactic here. I mean, if he'd thought about it, he probably could have. Queen back was probably not the great move. So pawn here. Oh, so I guess he had that, so my tactic wasn't as good as I thought. However, there's like a rinse and repeat that so we get the bishop. We give me another tempo for no reason. He really shouldn't have given me that tempo unless he's planning on sacking his queen. I was saying like so unfortunately for him, he's making second best moves. Not like a horrible blunder, but like a series of second best moves. And it's like, does he even have like a threat, like all his knight? Could he sacrifice like a tons of knight and even have a reasonable threat? And I think I need a bishop. So yeah, want to play. I thought I'd wanted to play like bishop here, and then he could take, but then I played bishop. But if I play bishop here, he's going to play bishop there. And then what am I going to do? Like bishop here? Yeah, I think that works. Bishop here. So I'll give it a chance, but it's saying, so I mean, if he plays bishop there, and then what am I going to play? Bishop here? Okay. So he blocks with the bishop. So here was one of my ideas. Threaten the rook and threaten my queen there at the same time. So that was one idea. And a knight is probably enough to mate. If he gives me a knight, he's probably mated. So in this situation, like if he tried something like knight here, I could probably just play queen takes knight, and then then the knight here will be mating. So it's not looking too good for him. I'm not even sure what he does. Although, like, I'm in the dilemma where I only have big material here. John Wolf, I'm playing in the European server, the weekly championship, and I'm almost in the top 10. And I've actually won this in the past, but I largely just wanted to ramble about my thoughts. It's probably not that interesting for that many people to watch, but you think I even get a few viewers doing it like this. So thank God, like Opperwiesen, the best player in the world, the current world champion. So yes, me, Doooovid, just doing like this will get more viewers than the best player. Jan Lee gets more viewers. He's got a good personality to talk about the things, and stream it at the same time. A little bit careful. I guess I'll just take the material. And we go with like a rook here. I mean, you could probably just do like a pawn here, and I didn't accomplish anything. I didn't have any threat. So that was probably a dumb move, but that was probably just dumb. So he's still got some chances, like, relatively material-wise. He's not that bad. Like rook here was probably better. He would have just dropped a pawn. Was my Amazon delivery here? I'm probably next. So that's probably telling me that my Amazon delivery is going to be in a minute, and I'll probably take a break from the stream to do that. All right, moves his king back. Okay, so let me just develop a bishop. get some sort of material in here. He's playing it safe, placing his material. It's probably a good idea. I gotta come up with something. It probably wasn't that good to sack the rook, but I just maybe could make his pieces stumble a little bit. That possibly causes pieces to stumble a tiny bit, although it doesn't look like I'm even accomplishing that. But maybe like pawn there, so that if I eventually have to sack my queen, get something back. Like now it looks like I am going to have to sack my queen, and what I'm going to get back. So your knight takes pawn. Okay. So if he takes the bishop, I could take his rook, although that may not be the greatest. Okay, so he goes for that. But that's still problematic because he can't take the bishop. So unfortunately, he outthought himself and put himself into a predicament because now he can't take the rook. The whole purpose of that was kind of lacking. So we played that there. So let's just take the pawn. So he's basically out of time, and got my Whole Foods delivery any minute. So the knight should be able to finish him off. Pawn there. Oh no, I didn't have a queen. I sacked my queen, so I don't have queens anymore. But he doesn't have anything material. So at this point, his ability to blitz this out is very limited. And even with that, there's the queen back. Okay, so good game. My Whole Foods delivery is going to be here any minute. So let's see if I win one more game. Maybe I'm going to risk my Whole Foods delivery in the freezer. I'll have to put in the freezer. So I am clarifying my thoughts, and I've mentioned it on Week in Review, and they're very complicated, and it's actually related to like physics in the multiverse. But this kind of concept of free will and chunking with these theories of the hard problem of consciousness, where you have two choices in front of you, which we'll call like a memory chunk. So, I'm looking at the board, and okay, Onyx, we're 2-2, and he's playing, this is a position I've seen many times. And so it's a question like, what am I going to do about it? And so okay, so he plays that first. But now I think I take here and can take the knight. I mean, there is some theory to what he did, but now certainly like he's got to be in some trouble because now he's serious trouble. They're giving me the queen trade on this, so I'm not sure that his opening was losing, but although not like it could be I messed this up myself because I gotta see I got to make a threat because pawn takes here. I could take with the pawn, and then he could take with the bishop, but allow a knight in. So if I take with a knight, he's going to take it. Queen there, take, queen there. It's not leading to anything. Queen check. So if I do rook there, he's just going to do pawn takes. I could do, I think pawn here's the move. I think that was it. Pawn here's the move. Okay, there's my Amazon delivery. Thanks a lot. The guy's coming. So see what happens here. So maybe, and he just takes. Okay, so what was my idea? Was it knight takes pawn, rook takes, bishop takes pawn? So knight takes pawn, and if he does bishop takes knight, then I have bishop takes pawn. Hey, thanks a lot. So my guy outside. Oh, so I took the pawn. Now I have bishop takes pawn, and take. I mean, I guess I keep on bringing him out. So he keeps on coming. So well, that wasn't mate. What did I do? Okay, there. Annoying. So all that, and I'm going to take the bishop and run. Although I'm not sure if he has sacks on me. So he even does it like that. So I can't even win the bishop. So I gotta. So this is not looking good. Like this is his game to win. I possibly had something, and now it's not looking good. I mean, I get absolutely zero material. He could chase my queen around. It's unclear, even if I had material, how I would use it. So, I mean, at least queen there. I mean, he could just do like pawn here, and it's annoying. And like, it's almost like everything loses. So we got to go like here, and he's almost certain to win this. So unfortunately, I'll probably call this the last game. I'll congratulate this guy, and I'm not going to let my food get too cold trying to try that. Takes pretty good move. Almost nothing here. I mean, he's almost certainly got me beat. Although, I mean, tiny minor chances that he bumbles this up somehow. I mean, knight check. I mean, probably he does knight check. He's giving me more material, which he may not want to do. So you look at it right now and be like, oh, do I want to, play knight check here and let me have this bishop and then let me take this rook. And it's almost certainly mating for him, but maybe not. I mean, he gave me a handful of material, and now I could run. So I mean, Rooker. Oh, queen, there's mate. Okay, great job. Congratulations. Good streaming, everybody. Props. So I'm gonna sign off. I'm gonna end the stream. I got my Amazon order. Blessings.